I looked the man in the eye. I found it to be very straightforward and trustworthy.
The Russian Federation has been an autocratic regime for almost 19 years, run by one man in particular, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. Freedom of speech in Russia is worse than South Sudan. Political opponents are shot, journalists are assassinated, history is falsified, and most of the major media outlets are effectively commanded by the regime. Then, when you follow Moscow's actions and movements since its occupation of Georgian territory in 2008, it's not hard to see what Putin really wants. Putin wants a sphere of control over territory in his neighborhood, mainly the 6 countries that lie between the EU and Russia and comprise what the EU calls its Eastern neighborhood. In effect, Moscow is practically calling for a new Yalta Agreement. This essentially means that selected countries in Russia's neighborhood, primarily Ukraine, would be denied sovereign status, which means that they could be denied a chance to join the EU or NATO in the future. The Kremlin wants the West to stop supporting democratic civil society in the Eurasian region. The Moscow ruling elite sees it as a direct threat to its existence. Initially, Putin and President George W. Bush shared an amicable relationship, but in 2004, the US supported a pro-Western movement challenging the presidential election outcome in Ukraine, the Orange Revolution. The same year, the US helped Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, 3 former Soviet republics, join NATO. Then, in 2008, Bush championed allowing Georgia and the Ukraine to start NATO membership action plans. This angered Putin, and as a result, tensions with the West soared. Putin wants Western sanctions to be lifted as soon as possible. Those sanctions were put on Russia after its aggressions toward and the invasion of Ukraine. It is highly unlikely that Putin will roll back from Crimea now, so those sanctions will probably stay in place for a while, which in effect has deterred him from going any further. Sanctions imposed by the West have affected the Russian economy adversely, even though they haven't changed Putin's behavior or attitude. Putin wants to reach the pinnacle any political leader aspires to and be seen as an important historical figure. In this case, the hero who returned Russia to its rightful place as a glorious and powerful nation. This is something that Putin could have tried to bring his country during his nearly 20-year rule, but quite clearly has not achieved, or come anywhere near doing. True, Mr. Putin has brought stability after the chaos of the Gorbachev and Yeltsin years, but this was stability to the benefit of the crony capitalism and oligarchs who plundered national resources. Overall, what Putin really wants is a new international order. He spelled it out very clearly in his famous Munich speech.
I consider that the unipolar model is not only unacceptable, but also impossible in today's world.
Putin's opponents, particularly those within Russia, see him as less of a cunning mastermind and more of an out-of-touch autocrat who has started a war with the West that Russia can't win. One survey showed that 53% of respondents disapprove of how the Russian government and Putin's approval rating has plummeted to an all-time low. Putin is constitutionally required to step down in 2024. Maybe he'll simply change the rules to eliminate term limits and work on his master plan. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this every Friday.